Hola! Here's a quick lesson for beginners learning the difference between the Spanish words por and para. In our examples, I'll be using different tenses, gustar, and other grammar concepts. If you need a separate review on those, have a look at the videos linked in the description. In some ways, these words are pretty straightforward. For example, when it comes to authorship of a book, by in English is por in Spanish, which is just a matter of learning vocabulary. The challenge, especially for English speakers, comes from the less straightforward part of these words, which is that both of them can be translated as the English word for. Why is that a challenge? Because in English, we use that one word in tons of ways, and those ways don't always line up with other language translations. Take this example about Lupita's academic career and career outlook. Almost all of these fors are used with different meanings. In theory, we could have 10 different words here, so we end up having to kind of split up the meanings. And in Spanish, those splits fall pretty much into these two categories, por and para. This sheet sums everything up, so we'll use it to ground our lesson. By the way, this PDF is available on lingolearner.com under the Store tab. The sheet provides a few different ways to learn, so focus on the one that suits you best. We'll start with the visual abstract explanation, then some acronyms, then a traditional explanation with some comparisons between the two words, and after that, as always, we'll have some practice rounds. First of all, let's get a bird's eye view of this concept. This linear visual that separates the columns between por and para can help us on the abstract level. If we look at how these words are used, we see that por is about process, means, via, around, through, duration, how so. It's like por is for the journey, so that line is squiggly, loopy, indirect. On the other hand, para is more for the destination than the journey. Its usage is fairly outcome-oriented, toward, goal, deadline, recipient, like a straightforward direct line toward a destination. Let's move on to another learning method, acronyms. Anytime you need to memorize lots of new information, I recommend two things, making up a song or using acronyms. And if you're not really a musical person or an acronym person, flashcards can work well too. I don't have songs or flashcards for this particular video, but I have put together some acronyms. Por is for dreams, and para is perfecto. First, por is dreams. It's used with D, duration or during, R, reasons, E, exchanges, A, around or through, M, means or methods, S, substitutes or supports, and it's also used for gratitude. Then para is perfecto. P for purpose, E for effect, R, recipient, F, future dates or deadlines, E, employment, C, comparisons, T, toward or destinations, and O, opinions. Okay, we have our acronyms. Let's dig deeper into each of those words with a traditional explanation and examples, starting with por. Remember that por in general is for internal work and process. We use por to say how long we did something for. Por ejemplo, estudié por 2 horas means I studied for 2 hours. Just so you know, in some dialects, it's common to use durante, or even no preposition at all for these situations, but for now, let's focus on the basics. We also use por to give a reason for something. No puedo oír por el ruido means I can't hear because of the noise. Or, ¿por qué no quieres venir? Why don't you want to come? Or, what's the reason you don't want to come? Por flojera, due to laziness or lack of motivation. We also use por for equivalents or exchanges. Te doy $10 por este libro means I'll give you $10 for this book, as in I'll give you $10 and in exchange you give me the book. Otro ejemplo, ella cambió su coche por un nuevo. She traded her car in for a new one. We use por for the words around and through. Me gusta caminar por la ciudad. I like walking around the city. How would you say, when I go to work, I go through the park? That's right. Cuando voy al trabajo, voy por el parque. We use por for how, via, through what means. I like translating this type of por with the words via or by. Viajamos por avión. We travel by plane. Por ejemplo, ¿cómo entraste? How did you come in? Por la puerta, claro. By the door, of course. We also use por for substitutes, as in the place of. Juan está enfermo. Estoy trabajando por él hoy. Juan is sick. I'm working for him today. Notice that this means I'm working in Juan's place, instead of him. It doesn't mean that Juan is my boss or employer and I work for him. That would be para. It's also used for support. For this one, I like to think of how similar the English word pro and Spanish por are. No sé por quién votar. I don't know whom to vote for, like whom to support with my vote. Or, luchemos por un mundo de dignidad, igualdad y justicia. Let us fight for a world of dignity, equality, and justice, in support of that world. Finally, por is used for gratitude. Gracias por ayudarme ayer. Thanks for helping me yesterday. Estoy agradecido por mis amigos. I'm grateful for my friends. Now let's dig a little deeper with para. Remember that para is our go-to for outcome-based, linear, progress vibes. We use para for purposes and goals, in order to do something. Estudio para ser médico. I'm studying in order to be a doctor. I'm studying for being a doctor. I'm studying to be a doctor. This is why we don't say estudiar always triggers por or para. It could be either one. Estudiar por is used for how long someone's studying, and estudiar para is used for what goal someone studies. Para is used for an intended effect. This aligns with the purpose and goal use as well. Hago ejercicio para estar saludable. I exercise for the effect of being healthy, or I exercise in order to be healthy. How would you say, in order to have money, one needs to work? That is, the goal or effect is having money, and we get there by working. That's right. Para tener dinero, hay que trabajar. If you need a review on this use of I, see the video in the description. We use para for intended recipients. Este regalo es para mi hermana. This gift is for my sister, as in she's the recipient of the gift. How would you say, I like to cook for my friends? That's right. Me gusta cocinar para mis amigos. Para is our go-to for future dates and deadlines. In English, we usually use by instead of for here. Esta tarea es para el lunes. This homework is for Monday, as in this homework is due on Monday or by Monday. Mi jefe necesita ese informe para mañana. My boss needs that report by tomorrow. As we briefly mentioned when we talked about por, describing employment uses para. Trabajo para el gobierno. I work for the government. So, trabajar por someone is to work for them, as in you're doing it in their stead or substituting them. But trabajar para someone is to work for them, as in they are your employer or boss. Got it? We can also use para for comparisons, describing something relative to something else, or as a qualifier. Para un americano, él habla bien el español. For an American, he speaks Spanish well. How would you say she reads well for her age? That's right. Ella lee bien para su edad. Para is used for going toward something, destinations. Voy para allá. I'm going there. I'm going in that direction. It also means I'm on my way. Voy para allá. So it's worth pausing here to say that location can be used with por or para for different meanings. In this song by Pedro Capó and Farruko, Vamos para la playa means let's go to the beach. Hey, look, there's also an in order to or purpose para here. Para curarte el alma. In order to cure your soul, or with the goal of curing your soul. Listen closely here. The word para gets clipped to just one syllable, pa, which is pretty common. Vamos pa la playa, pa curarte el alma. Vamos pa la playa, pa curarte el alma. Cierra la pantalla. But if someone is in a location, walking around and through it, we use por. Por ejemplo, cuando estuvimos por Venezuela? When we were in Venezuela. Like hanging out there, not on our way to that destination. Like in this song by Carlos Baute and Marta Sanchez. We use para for our opinions or viewpoints. Para mí, los libros son mejores que las películas. For me, books are better than movies. Para mis padres, soy especial. My parents think I'm special. In my parents' opinion, I'm special. And, like with any languages, we have some idiomatic expressions that use por or para because they just do. Let's go over those for pronunciation practice. Slow down the video and pause as necessary. Por otro lado. Por poco. Por ejemplo. Por cierto. Por lo tanto. Por primera vez. Por lo menos. Por ahora. Por dentro. Por fin. Por aquí. Por eso. Por supuesto. And let's see some idiomatic expressions with para. No es para tanto. Para todos. Para que sepas or para que entiendas. ¿Para qué? Tal para cual. Para mañana. Para colmo. Para llevar. Para que. Para siempre. Estar para. Para adelante. Para nada. Para empezar. Para acabar or para concluir. Estar para with an infinitive. And para bien o para mal. Okay, ready for some practice? We'll do some here in the video and I'll link more in the description. Get ready to pause. All right, choose por or para to fill in the blank and give your reason why. Uno. That's right. This one is para, for purpose. Dos. Yes, quiero hablar contigo por teléfono. This is the means or method via which I'll talk to you. Tres. That's right. Gracias por estar siempre a mi lado is gratitude. Thanks for always being at my side. Cuatro. Para no tener sueño, debes dormir 8 horas cada noche. To have that effect, here's what you do. 5. That's right. Salgo para Cartagena mañana because that's our destination or where we're leaving for or toward. Ready to do a few on your own? Give these a try. How did you do? Votamos por Lupita. That's support. Ella trabaja para una empresa que se llama Fairphone. That's employment. No puedo encontrar mi teléfono. Debe estar por aquí en alguna parte. It must be around here somewhere. Para mis padres, soy perezoso. In my parents' opinion, I'm lazy. Perdiste la lección por llegar tarde. You missed the lesson because you arrived late. That's the reason for which you missed the lesson. Okay, show us what you got. These are just for you to practice with. Great job. Now, let's be real. This concept can be tricky, and watching one 15-minute video just once is not going to get it done to fully understand it forever. Watch this video again, and maybe another time after that. Do the practice exercises multiple times, and really keep studying if you want to have it down. That's it for telling the difference between por and para. Good job! You can find more language learning resources like the por and para PDF shown in this video at lingolearner.com.